Hello, hello, and welcome back to our series ranking all of Survivor songs except for a couple of exceptions. Listen to the first episode to see what those few exceptions are. But we are back with songs 60 to 51, and I had a tough time with this one. I think this is the hardest list, hardest 10 that I've ranked so far. Out of the 10, there are songs from 9 of the 10 different Coldplay albums in this list, which is pretty cool and kind of exciting. And honestly, I love all 10 of these songs. And it's getting to a spot now where I'm realizing, number one, obviously as a big fanboy of Coldplay, this is going to be difficult. But on top of it, part of what makes it difficult is when I did this a few years ago, that Coldplay only had 8 albums, and now they have 10, so that you have roughly 20 more songs, give or take. I'm not exactly sure how many songs those last 2 albums had on them off the top of my head. Um, so any, you know, if you're talking about a top three song on an album, when you have 8 albums, it looks a lot different than it does when you have 10 albums because you've added 6 songs now, top three for those other 2 albums. So we're talking about, the top 5 to 6 songs from, Coldplay's, we're talking about songs that are roughly in that top 5 or 6 range for these albums. And if you've noticed or try to keep track of like which albums have had more or less songs in them, then you will know that there's a couple of albums, or one album in particular, that we've not touched at all. We're gonna put one of the songs on the list right now. And so it gets just harder and harder as we go, it seems like, with how far up these albums were going. And all of Coldplay's albums, love them or hate them, have a song or two that you're like, yeah, but maybe I hate this album, but that song is amazing. And so the closer we get to those songs, it's just gonna get harder and harder. I'm hoping at some point there'll be a clear distinction between the songs that I love and like their all-time like top 20 or top 10. But right now, when we're in this 60s and 50s, I'm currently ranking like the next list, in my personal time before I can record it, and it's just as hard so far as this 10 was. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it because it's been tough. Number 60 to start us off with a song from X and Y, Square One, and I believe it's the first song off the album. I need to double check myself since I don't know why I'm doubting myself, but a really, really great, yeah, first song off the album. Really great song. And like, I think that with this episode, more than any other so far, it'll be more of a love fest and less critiquing these songs. Just because, like, sincerely really like these songs. It's not so much about finding the nitpicks anymore. It's more about I just like the other ones better. So the song opens really great ambient reverby uh sounds, probably guitar and keyboard, and Chris Martin's voice, like not full voice high, but like pretty high and airy, and it's just so pretty. He hits falsetto once in that first verse, and then the drums kick in and the bass comes in, and holy cow, this song, it's just like really great when you get the drums coming in for a little bit, maybe like 15, 30 seconds, and then the chorus kicks in right away, which I love. I've complained about some songs that take a while to get there. It takes a minute to get to the chorus, but it's only one verse. And there's a lot of intro, like music basically before that. And the guitar riff that comes in over top of the synth and rhythm guitar is more ambient. It is driving that da na na na, and it's just like, oh, it's so good. Sincerely love it. I think it's one of the best opener. I think there's two, maybe three, opening tracks to albums on this 10, and they're all very good ones in my opinion. This one is just great, and you get like after the first breakdown of the first chorus, you kind of like falls back down. This is what I've been talking about in some of these episodes where I'm like, yeah, this is cool that it builds, but like I've seen Coldplay be really dynamic with the ups and the downs, and this song is a great example of that. It starts off really like ambient and low, and then it slowly builds after the first verse into the first chorus, which like hits a real big high, and then after the first chorus it drops back down, but not all the way back down into that next verse where it's just gonna like, okay, now we're in the vibe, we're in the rhythm, the drums going, we're in this little pocket, and we can kind of build off of that first verse, and then again, you get back into the chorus where it pulls it back up, and it's just like this is like the style of song that a lot of the non-hit Coldplay songs do that I want them to do. And then you get the last chorus and it just falls completely out. You just have really faded into the background some lead lines from the guitar, and some ambient synthy type stuff. And then it comes back in with Chris and the acoustic guitar. And it is just like a heart-wrenching, like you can tell he just is emoting so much in terms of the lyrics to this song. And it is just so good. And I hate that I have to put it at 60, but like they have so many great songs. It is a great song, and it ends like it just all when everything just drops out, and Chris just comes in strumming the acoustic guitar and singing with his beautiful voice. It is a great opener. But let's go ahead and get on now to 59, and here we have our first song from Viva La Vida, the first track of Viva La Vida, Life in Technicolor. Um, if you've noticed, I haven't ranked any Viva La Vida songs. I expected to have ranked two or three songs from this album to this point. Um, and the more I listen to them, and I've explained my process once before. I'll do it really quickly. Basically, the last, I rank all the albums, the songs in the album, excuse me, and then I take the bottom song from every album and put them in a playlist and listen to them to find the absolute bottom. And then I replace that song with whatever album's next song that I took that song from and continue that way. So I'm filling from the bottom in a way that I have ranked these songs. And so I just expected at 59 to have already ranked at least two, if not three, songs from Viva La Vida. Not because I hate Viva La Vida, I adore Viva La Vida, but just like based off of what I know last time and based off of what was happening with the other albums, I was getting two and three and four songs deep on some of these albums and still not ranking this song because I adore Live in Technicolor. And there's a version with lyrics. It came on an EP a year, maybe a year-ish after this album came out. That's really great. We're not doing EPs right now. I may do like an honorable mention type thing with some EPs at some point in this series, but this song, man, it is a perfect start to the album. It like builds to such a full moment about a minute and a half into this 2.5 minute song where the electric guitar kind of like comes in with a like a speed picking kind of thing, not like super like metal speed picking kind of thing, but just like a Coldplay speed picking kind of thing. And there's like just it's very full and so well produced. Like this album, every song, there's just so much going on. You can like follow the bass one time and then start the song all over again. Now follow the acoustic guitar, start it over again, follow the electric guitar, start it over again, follow the piano, start it over again, follow the organ. Like everything is just working so well together, but none of it is just like, hey, we're just playing the chords. Like they're doing so much in this album with these songs, and even when you feel like, yeah, that's a good song, nothing special. But when you like really like listen to it, you're like, actually, this song is incredible. Um, and that's what I feel about most of this album. That's part of why we've gotten to this point without ranking any songs from Viva La Vida. Is just an incredible album, Coldplay has several, in my opinion, incredible albums. So I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't say about other albums per se, but that's part of how we got into this point. So great opening, incredible opening. It really fits the vibe of the rest of the album. And I think there's a couple times where the Coldplay has done this, where they have started and ended an album with a similar melody or a similar song. So like this comes back, part of this song comes back at the end of the album, and it just kind of serves to help loop the album. And I would loop this album when it came out in my car, just loop the CD for hours. And they did it again with Ghost Stories, and they may have done it again with another album. I don't remember off the top of my head right now. And it just didn't quite work as well for me for Ghost Stories. Part of it was just generally that album doesn't work as well for me as this album does. But this song, it works. So let's go ahead and go on to 58. This is Shiver. And really good song. Like again, this is something I love here. This album. This whole 10. I'm sorry, not just this album. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think we have four songs that begin albums on this top 10. So it got a little sidetracked off of that. But um, this song is a great example of the kind of the vibe of Parachutes, this album, and really good. This is just there's other songs that do it better. As part of, and this album is maybe the most consistent album in terms of the vibe and like the feel and who's playing what instrument and what tones are we getting out of those instruments and like the acoustic guitar sounds basically the same this entire album, which is not at all a knock. Like the tone you're getting out of it and like the effects are basically the same the whole time, and a lot of the lead guitar in this album sounds the same in every song, or similar at least. A couple of songs that are a couple of exceptions, but that's it. It works in this album's case because it doesn't get mundane or monotonous. It just gives it a consistent feel, and I just think that the reason why this song is not any higher is more because there are songs that I like more than this, and there are songs on this album that I think give me similar things that do it better. So. Um, Really good song though. I mean, like again, I'm not gonna try to nitpick some of these songs. I love some of these, and there's not much to nitpick. This is just where it falls for me. It's 58. So, without further ado, let's get into 57. 57, an opening track to an album, A Head Full of Dreams from A Head Full of Dreams. This one kind of hurt to put here because this is I've seen Coldplay live 3 times. Twice was on the Head Full of Dreams tour, and they open up that tour with this song and with a really cool um like monologue from I'm not sure who it is, but somebody talking about how life's a wonderful adventure, and that's kind of the end of the monologue, but there's just a lot of good stuff in that monologue, and it's just it kind of gets the concert off to a really great start, and this song comes in and just like kicks you in the face. um but what I think ends up putting it here for me is like after seeing it live and hearing it live, it has so much more energy live than it does on the track on the recording that it ends up feeling like, man, it's just not quite what I got when I was there live. And I don't, and part of that might just be like being there, but I don't think it's all of that. I think they do some certain things with the mixing, like the electric guitar is not quite as prominent as I think it is live. And the rhythm electric guitar on this song is very U2-esque. There's a little fun riff in the first chorus, and I think it continues throughout the rest of the choruses, but it just is a little bit more faded into the background than what I would like, which again is a little bit of a nitpick, but in terms of the vibe, in terms of not the vibe so much as the I talk about the vibe and shiver, and it's still in my head. In terms of this song's and like it really getting you hyped up for a great show or a great album, I think it does that really well. And I wouldn't have it as my number. Like I actually think Life in Technicolor is a better opener for an album, but this is just a little bit better of a song. It's a little bit more. It's more of a full song. It feels like an actual full song, not just like an intro. Like Life in Technicolor, if it was less than a minute, would not have been ranked because that was one of the criteria was if it doesn't have lyrics, then it's under a minute. I'm not going to rank it. It was two. That song was 2.5 minutes, so I felt like I had to rank it. Um, and I will say the part of the song that I do adore and think is just as good on the recording as it is live is when it falls apart to the bridge where you have that last second chorus and it's all big and it just falls and all you have is this reverb delay heavy guitar riff from Johnny that is just like so good, and it's just it's really like sometimes with the amount of reverb and the amount of delay that he has on his guitar, it can sound really messy and sloppy sometimes if you're not careful. But he's just an absolute pro with this stuff and knows how to get this to sound exactly. And I'm sure it's not anything like mind-blowingly impressive in terms of the notes he's playing and all of that, but the cleanness with which he's playing it is impressive to me, and in a way that he just sits in the pocket and fits the song so well is so impressive. He is not ever taking over a song. Um, it is just so great. And when you're there live with everyone doing the vocalizations at the end, the O's at the end, it is magical, truly magical. So again, great song, love it. One of my favorite openers to in their albums. And that out of the 10 is probably somewhere around third, I would say. I'm not 100% sure off that, but definitely up there. Okay, well, whoops, spoiler alert. 56. Hope you didn't see that. Maybe I'm sure you did, but 56 is Humankind. I think this is the second song off of the album. I need to double check, but now that I'm in this groove of like openers, yeah, second song on the album. So it feels like A Head Full of Dreams. It feels like an opener to me, but it is not. It's second song. Um, really like this song. It has a lot of similar vibes to Head Full of Dreams. I like it just a little smidge more than that song. And I think what these songs do is they kind of ride the line of cheesy that I think that Milo Zolotto's opening song, well, Hurts Like Heaven, does kind of cross into being a little too cheesy for me. And these are similar, but not as far. And they're similar vibe to that song. And I just love the message of this song of just like being kind to each other and being kind to people. It sounds cheesy, but like the way they do it in this song is less cheesy than what you would expect out of that message. And again, like Johnny, the way that he plays lead guitar as if it's kind of rhythmic is he does it sometimes with the last song and this song as well, where he's playing these little riffs, but he's playing some chords with the riffs, and he's playing the riffs aren't just like lead lines, they're like they sound like almost arpeggiated chords. They're not arpeggiated chords, but they sound kind of like it. And that gives it a rhythm and a flow that just fits the song so well, while also standing out in the way that a lead line would stand out. And it's just like I just don't think he gets enough credit. I'm a fan. I don't think he's like some all-time like top five, top 10 guitar player of all time. But I just think people think, oh, it's just Coldplay. They're not that talented. He can't be that talented. He's very, very talented, and they all four are, in my opinion. But I think he gets overlooked. I think that a lot of times people respect Chris Martin for being a great frontman, but I don't think people respect Will Champion and Guy Berryman and Johnny Buckland enough. So. And this song's a good example of it. And this song's also a good example of the ebbs and flows. Having like I think it's the second verse, where it all drops out and it's just acoustic guitar and Chris, like that just works. And it quickly builds back up to where even before the pre-chorus, you get Johnny with the lead guitar coming back in and the drums coming back in, and that constant drum beat of the thump, 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 thump the whole time. It really, really works for me. And specifically the breakdown of the bridge, where it like has a big chorus and then it just crashes again, the same way I talked about with Square One. And they don't do it immediately, which I really like. They basically like you would think it would end like so like but the lyric is like still they call us humankind, and there's like a moment where you could crash and fall right after he says humankind. They don't. They continue that lead line of dun 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 dun, and then they fall. And not only do they actually do it twice, that lead line, they do it twice. Maybe more than that, maybe three or four times. I think it's three times. And then it all goes away. And all you have is like the thump of like, I think it's like, I don't know what drum it is. It's not a snare, obviously, but it's more of like a tom. And he hits like once just to give him a little bit of rhythm. And Chris even drops his voice all the way down to like a low register, and you just have some like synthy, like atmospheric stuff kind of filling in the gaps. And then you get this like rhythmic, this huge chord, and it's like just really like reverbing, and it just like fills the whole song up. And then you get this really great, like, get like lead up back into the chorus of a like a lead line that again has some rhythm to it and is very like the acoustics coming in with the lead here, and building it back up to that don't know, and it goes right back into the with Will just like killing the drums with some fills and like going along hits with the lead guitar back into the chorus, one big last chorus, and it is just like it's epic. And I would have loved to have seen this song live. Maybe they'll do it live at some point if I ever go to see them again. But I think that probably they will. This will be one that maybe will not be a regular, but I do love it. So let's go ahead and look at 55. And now we're getting in the next couple of songs, a very different vibe. We're bringing those songs were very arena, big anthem-y type songs. We're bringing these down to some quiet songs now. The next couple of them, we have A Rush of Blood to the Head from A Rush of Blood to the Head. And this is a song that has aged really well for me in terms of like my feelings on it. I feel like it gets higher and higher every time that I do one of these exercises where I'm considering ranking the songs from Coldplay. Um, it is obviously it's a longer song, but it doesn't feel as long as it is, and it like uses the time well, I think. And just kind of has a good like chill acoustic guitar with and some like synthy organy stuff in the background, really low and quiet with Chris. Um, and like you get the electric guitar sliding in after the first verse, into that second verse with the vocalizations that he does, the like the O's kind of before the second verse. Um, and you get the drums coming in, you kind of kick it up into the next level, but you're not like jumping up, you're just like going up to the next level. And you do that into the chorus where it does now it jumps up pretty significantly to me, um, and it kicks things off. And that's a minute 45, but you've had an intro and you've had a couple of like verses that just kind of like slowly build to that moment. So I know that might sound contradictory to some songs that I've said before that felt like they took too long to get to the chorus. This one, it makes it feel like it needs that room to breathe, given the vibe of the song, and the kind of the heaviness of some of the lyrics. It just feels like it kind of needs that, and it really slowly builds and earns that to me. And the chorus with the lead line going through is just really gorgeous. And then you kind of like fall back down almost immediately after that um, first chorus into the same kind of vibe you were at in the second verse, which again is like, as I've been kind of saying, I like when they kind of come and go. Um, and he kind of like he does another verse, has some really fun and interesting and different choices with like his notes in these verses. He doesn't just follow the same pattern as he did in the first verses, and his choices are generally like a little bit higher, which helps build into the chorus, which goes back up again. So like he's making these choices that are going to lead us naturally into this like upward swell into the chorus, and you get the second chorus kind of comes back down, and you go into the bridge for the last minute, uh, and it's just like like you get like the lead guitar playing chords and the acoustic guitar playing chords with the leads playing on like much higher, obviously on the neck, and it just like fits so well, and you just kind of like rock to the song, and like it's just it's a really great song. I can see why people might overlook it, but I you might think that I am as well, putting it 55, but like I think it's like a top five song, six song maybe from one of their best albums. Rush of Blood to the Head is critically considered to be one of their top one or two albums, just generally by critics. And I think this is a top five or six song from that album, so it's pretty high praise for one of the best bands of all time. So, okay, let's get 54, where I'm gonna get some controversy probably from at least one person, my sister, putting this song so low. It actually probably has dropped for me a little bit, but I think part of why it's so low is just that you've gotten two new albums of songs, and I still think this is a great song. I think I have it third on the album. It's just that a lot of the other songs on this album I don't love, and they've fallen to this point. And what I have realized is, in doing all, I said it a few times, but what I've realized in doing all of this is like if a song kind of stays in the same pocket, I think 3 to 4 minutes is about where it needs to be, and this song is like 5.5 minutes. And to be fair, part of that is like the end of the song, like maybe the last minute, minute and a half. I'm not totally positive, where it is transitioning back into the start of the album. I just don't love that transition, and it like there's like some silence going into that transition, where the transition that they do at the end of Viva La Vida, I won't talk about that too much because that song is going to be on this list somewhere, in the next 53 songs. So I don't want to talk about it too much yet, but I feel like that song does this thing much, much better. And the part that connects back into the beginning of the album, it was much more seamless than this one is here. So that to me is not a huge detractor of this song, and it's not really a big reason why this song got to fall to 54. It's just more that while it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, and just having the piano, like a beautiful piano, like arpeggiated melody rhythm with Chris's beautiful voice and like some really just well written lyrics, like really great lyrics, really beautiful and like moving. Like it gives me goosebumps a lot of times, and occasionally can bring a tear to your eye. It kind of just stays in this same spot the whole time, and that's really why. And there are other songs from newer albums that do a similar thing for me that I think do it better, and that's a part of why it has. That's really the biggest reason, beyond the fact that there's just more songs to rank now. That's the biggest reason why it has fallen. It hasn't fallen like significantly. I still love this song, I will never skip it if I'm listening to their stuff on shuffle or whatever. I'm never gonna be like, oh, this song, whatever. Like, sincerely love all these songs, but that's kind of where I'm at with it. I would have liked to have had some like guitar swells, somewhere in here, maybe the second like verse-ish, maybe like a minute and a half, 2 minutes in. But you don't really have anything other than the piano until about 3 minutes, where you get some guitar deep in the background. And I get why they wanted to do that. I just think they should have. I think that I would have preferred that if they do that little quiet guitar stuff, like a minute or so earlier, and then build to more like standard swells, just to give it a little more depth. But that is a nitpick, and I know I'm not trying to do that a whole bunch on this episode. It's just trying to explain why a song that I know some people absolutely love, and they should. It's a great song, but I'm trying to explain why I have it a little bit lower than maybe they might have expected, or more than they would have it. So, okay. Next, the first song from the first album, Don't Panic. And this is also a great song. Like, if somebody had this song at like 25, I would not be like, oh, you're crazy. Even like maybe even like 20. Um, I think that might be a little high, but like part of it is, again, I think this is I think this is a top five song from a really great album. And if you rank all of the songs, all 10 albums, that's 50, you know? So like I just think that some of these albums have songs that are a little bit better than this, as they're like four, five, six area. And that's part of why this is happening. It's a great opening song. It really fits the vibe of the album and kind of sets the stage for like what you're going to be getting the rest of the album. Um, and I do really like it. I really do. It's a little short, and it's because of that, it's kind of samey. It's about 2.5 minutes, and it's just kind of like the same thing the whole time. So it's like it's kind of I just wish that it was a little bit longer, and then maybe you could do like have like a little bit of a bridge to it or something. Like, the only thing that might be considered a bridge is like a little instrumental moment, and that's like a minute and 15 into the song, and that goes what, like 15 seconds or so, like something like that. And then you go back into the chorus again, and then you kind of have the ending where you have Chris saying, "All that I know, there's nothing here to run from," like the ending. And it just feels like it's like three-quarters of a song that I really love, and I would just like a little bit more of it. And I'm back to back nitpicking a little bit here, but I do think it's a great song. I'm just trying to explain why I don't have it quite as high as what I feel like some people will have the song a good bit higher, and I wouldn't fault them for that. So, okay, 52. We're gonna go to One World from Moon Music, and if you want to talk about a song that has not fallen for me, but has quite risen quite high, obviously I have not ranked the Coldplay songs since the last two albums came out, Music of the Spheres and Moon Music, but when I first listened to this album, my friend Alex said, well, we talked about songs we liked, songs we maybe didn't love as much. And so he was like, well, what's your least favorite song on the album? And I said, probably Jupiter, but One World is also close. And I ranked Jupiter 103. And if you want to hear my thoughts about that, you go back and find that episode. But to have this song, which is a 10-track album, Moon Music, Jupiter would be 10 then. So to not have Moon Music not just be not only was it not 9, it was not 8, it was not 7. It is sitting here. Oh, sorry, it is 7. It's sitting here at 7. So it's jumped up a couple of spots. And not just that, but like it's been 27 songs since we ranked a song from this album. I have been struggling with this song with where should I be putting it? What should I do with it? Because I listened to it, when I first listened to it, I was like, yeah, it's kind of just like this. It has like three different stages to it, and the first two, they're all pretty basic and repetitive. But like, when you really just crank this song up and just chill and listen to it, and like really listen to it, it is beautiful. And I like the message of it. And it reminds me of the Beatles. It reminds me of the Beatles so much. And the first part, the One World part, does remind me of the Beatles. But the second part of In the End It's Just Love, like obviously you have Paul McCartney the end of Abbey Road, and in the end, the love you get is equal to the love you make. Um, I believe is the lyric. If I'm wrong, I'm sure one of my cousins or somebody will tell me that I'm wrong. But um, you also have the moment where you can hear a bunch of vocalizations in the background as they transition into that in the end it's just love part. And um, before they released this album, at some point, they put out a call for people to record themselves and hum a certain note. And they also did it at one of their live at one of their concerts. And they've used that audio to create that moment of everyone saying one, and it's like it's just supposed to be this note. And so, technically speaking, my beautiful voice is on this song, on this album, One World by Coldplay. I am a published singer. I have a song. At some point, I'm just like milking this for all that it's worth. But, and that's honest to goodness is not really a part of the reason why. 'Cause I knew that going into it. I knew that before I made this list. I knew that when I told Alex that this is probably my second least favorite song on the album. And now it's sitting at seven, and it was close to being six. And it is just beautiful. And the stuff with, again, the in the end, it's just love just reminds me so much of the Beatles. And it's this song is so emblematic of Coldplay and Chris Martin and what they believe about humanity, and what they feel and what kind of informs their songwriting and their just heartbeat for people. It sounds cheesy maybe, but like if you know their discography and know them, if listen to or watch interviews, you get it, and this song just it is Coldplay. Um, and so I kind of fell in love with the song through this process, and I'm really happy that I did. So, last song for the episode here is Cry, Cry, Cry. This is one of the examples of a song that is so different that I adore. I love. I really didn't want to put this one here. I wanted to put it a couple of spots higher, and I just couldn't. I just loved those songs just a little bit more. Um, and like I'm even sitting here now considering like, well, maybe I could put this song on there. Maybe I could do that song. Like maybe I can do I want to edit this and put that song there instead? Like, and I think I'm just gonna keep it now. But like, see, as you know, at the end of the day, if I did change it, I would just move it by a couple of spots. So I wouldn't. It would not move considerably. But it is a really fun and interesting song that's unique among their discography. And the beginning of it is just fine for me. Like it's good, but not great. And then when they have the first like chorus, um, and then it really brings in like the harmonies of the like almost like barbershop quartet type little like vocalizations harmonizing behind Chris. Um, and then it builds to him saying, "I'll never, never, ever let you go." And then they all come in with the when you cry, 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 baby, and you can hear like not just because like it's crazy because I went on the rant about the character and the voice that they do. That person is whatever that voice is one of the two voices in the first verse and the first chorus. But then when they come in, where it's the two of them, and then also the rest of Coldplay harmonizing with Chris and the puppet lady. It's great and I love it. It's like a 2 minute and 50-second song, and it takes, a minute and a half or so to get to that moment, which again, a minute and a half to get to that moment is not that big of a deal. But when it's less than a 3 minute song, then it starts to become kind of odd. Um, there is it's three of these last four songs I think it's been that I've kind of nitpicked a couple of them. It was like yeah, Oh and Don't Panic and Cry Cry Cry. Those were the three of the four that I made a couple of nitpicks for. Part of the why I feel the need to like kind of not nitpick them to death, but just like offer a couple of nitpicky type things is because there are aspects of them that I absolutely love that make me want to put them higher. I actually moved Don't Panic up like two or three spots on this list just like a little bit ago before I started recording this. And so there are things about these songs that I love to the point where I want to put them higher, but it's a matter of like, does a different song do it better? And if so, I should reward that song. Or there are certain aspects of the song that I don't love as much. So, all that being said, we're at the end of the episode, so I'll stop nitpicking it. Cry, Cry, Cry is a really great song, really unique, really original, and I do love it. Um, But we're at the end of the episode and we're going to get 50 to 41 next week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if there's somebody that you would like to see me do this exercise of ranking their songs. Again, no promises, but I'm open to doing this with a different artist maybe at some point in the future. So let me know what you think. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Goodbye.